Chapter 16. Pulling up in front of the Myrtles' home, I hesitate for a minute or two before finally stepping out of the car and walking to the door. I knock at the door and wait for someone to open it. My heart is racing and my palms are sweaty. I haven't been here in such a long time and I don't know how I will be received, but this visit is long overdue. It had to be done one way or another. I wait for a couple of minutes before the door is opened. The house help. Her eyes widen and she stares at me, her worship. Lady Chishimba, she gasps. In the flesh, I respond, forcing a smile on my face. I watch you on TV always. You don't know how much I am inspired by you. What are you doing here? Thank you so much. I am looking for Lucy, Mrs. Myrtle. Is she expecting you here today? No, she isn't, but tell her that an old friend is here to see her. Okay, she opens the door wider and steps aside to let me pass. After closing the door behind me, I follow her into the living room. Looking around, I notice that this place looks more different than it was when I last came here. The photos of the happy couple and children that once hung on the walls of the living room aren't there anymore. I take a sit and wait as the helper heads upstairs to get Lucy. After waiting for what seems like an eternity, Lucy finally walks into the living room, and when she spots me, her smile turns into a frown. Chishimba, what do you want here? We need to talk, Lucy. How are you? How I am doing is none of your business. You shouldn't be here, Chishimba. I went to Thomas's graveyard the other day. I still can't believe it's been 22 years since he passed, I say. You know I haven't loved a man like I loved Thomas. Not even Darcy's father. You shouldn't be here, Chishimba. I don't want us to talk about this. I love that man and I have lived the guilt of what happened for the last couple of years. You killed my brother, Chishimba. It's just normal the guilt should haunt you. It was an accident, I say, tears flooding my eyes, spells of grief and storms of tears. I was driving the night that Thomas died. We got caught up in a heated argument and I became so furious that I sped up the car. I lost control of the car and struck a concrete pillar, causing the vehicle to slide into a pole and brick wall. Thomas died on the spot. I don't know how I survived, but I did. I only discovered later that I was pregnant and I was too far along to get rid of the pregnancy. I know I shouldn't, but I was in so much pain that I couldn't keep a child, so I left her at the orphanage. I had Darcy a year later and I tried to pour into her all the love I couldn't pour into my first child. I ended up spoiling Darcy in the process. I went back to the orphanage to check for my child years later, but she was gone and I wasn't given the information of who got her. I didn't try to look for her again because I felt she was given a better life than the one I would have given her. When I became mayor, I asked for all the documents about the child that I had to be erased because I didn't want the press to get to that information and use it against me. A few days ago, I just had a very bad dream and decided to confront the past, and with that I found out who my child was. Lord knows I am confused. I don't even know what to do, nor do I know how to confront the situation. An accident, you say? Thomas knew he wasn't supposed to date you. I have always hated you and I knew you weren't good for him, and even my wanting to stand as mayor was only for me to stand up against you and hurt you. I discovered after the accident that I was pregnant with Thomas's child, I say, ignoring everything she has said. Excuse me. I was pregnant and I tried to reach out to you, but you didn't want me around. And what happened with the child? She asks, now sitting down in front of me. I gave her up. I left her at the door of the orphanage and you gave up my brother's child. Chishimba, your own child. I did. I was bitter and in pain. I couldn't keep her. You should have brought that child to me. How? I tried to reach out. You didn't listen. You didn't even want anything to do with me. I was depressed, and if not for Darcy's father I would have surely died. Darcy's father was a doctor that attended to me. He helped me out with what I needed. He actually advised to up my daughter. And we started a relationship afterwards. He was my rebound. There wasn't any love between us. I got pregnant for him a year later. We cohabited for some time and he too died, leaving me everything he owned. Why are you telling me this now? Why now after so many years? You could have kept this to yourself, Chishimba, because I hate you more now than I did before. You gave up my niece. I would have loved that girl, and I went back to the orphanage and found that she had been adopted, so I didn't bother further. So, what is all this about? You don't even know where my niece is. When I became mayor, I had all documents about the child erased and I didn't want to know who she was because that part of my life was buried. But now, I know who my daughter and your niece is and my heart is breaking, Lucy. I cry even harder. I found her, Lucy, I did. Where is she? I need to see her. You know her and she is very close. I would love to meet her. I haven't even contacted her, but we can go and see her. Now. Yes, okay. Asterisk. Elab. Your August girl, Hibiscus.